We want to get you back out to that mess of a scene on I-87 South. That's near Knightdale, near US 64 Business. Carly Haynes in the WRL Storm Tracker. You've been following this. Carly, now you are outside of the Storm Tracker. You've had a bit of time to gather some more details. What can you tell us?
Well, I can show you just what we've seen as we've come up. This is the very front of that huge backup on 87 that people have said they've been around here for more than an hour in their cars waiting for this, and we can see how many cars are involved in this. We have a minivan there, SUV, sedan. It looks like we're seeing some damage to the back of their vehicles and a little bit to the front too. So they've spun off on this road, and we have a lot of emergency crews here as well, including the Department of Transportation. There are car pieces all over the roads, so this is a huge mess for them to clean up. And then also I want to show you on this tow truck, we're seeing a fire marshal, a Wake County fire marshal going up on this tow truck as well. So it's possible they were actually coming to aid people on the road, and they got caught up in all of this as well. We have an ambulance. Knightdale is here responding. And I want to show you this right here too. This is what looks to be a bumper on the side of the road. So a lot of destruction on 87. These backups are all the way down. We've been seeing police officers guiding some cars out back there where there is a little gap, but then you have these other cars where there isn't really a way for them to get out of here. So they're stuck here until all of this is cleared out. We know that there were 9 cars involved at least. That's according to Highway Patrol, that there were minor injuries in all of this, but certainly just shows you how much of a mess this is on the roads. And we're seeing people driving by on 87 right now. They're going slow, and they're seeing just how massive this backup is. Even we were in the Storm Tracker, we pulled off to the side, and they actually guided us to the other side here to make sure that we were safe, because we have been seeing cars spin out on these icy roads. And when I'm standing here, I mean, you have that snow right on top, but that ice is right underneath. So yeah, it's a mess out here.
Carly, have you been able to talk to anyone who was involved in that crash? Are they kind of standing near their vehicles?
So, sorry, we want to make sure that we can allow first responders to come here. We have a towing vehicle here as well. So I did see somebody who was involved. It looked like somebody in an Amazon truck back there. She was outside of her vehicle. She seemed to be okay, which was great. But obviously, you know, physically she might have been fine, but that must have been just very scary. But we also talked to a few people who weren't involved, but who have been stuck in these backups. And yeah, they want to know what's going on, but they get it. And I mean, they're waiting for answers too. They didn't know what was right up in front of them because they've been in their vehicles. So, but yeah, we're just gathering information right now. I'm actually going to try to talk to some of these first responders in a little bit to see if we can get more information about those injuries. But yeah, well, all we know from Highway Patrol, they said minor injuries. So we're hoping those people are going to be okay.
Sure. So I guess those minor injuries, that helps us understand why there is that EMS truck out there right now. Paramedics are gathered checking on some of the folks that may have been involved in this, Carly?
Yes, we have EMS here. We're seeing fire departments, tow trucks, multiple tow trucks, and we're seeing Department of Transportation out here. We know that they're also working to sand down the area a little bit too. So this is a joint effort by a lot of different agencies, and we see the NCDOT incident management truck. So, I mean, they talk about this big response, how they have to come together in situations like this, and we've been covering all throughout the day the preparations, and it's the preparations for this. What happens if, you know, you put down the brine, you put down the salt, you try to do as much as you can, but the ice is relentless. So how do you react? And that's where we're at right now, in that reaction mode with that incident management, EMS, and these tow trucks.
It looks like they're preparing to open that lane again. Am I getting ahead of myself, or is it looking like they may be able to open at least one lane?
From what we can see right here, it's looking like there are cars across every single lane. So I don't know if they're going to be able to open a lane. they'd have to get those cars that photojournalist John Rector was just showing you there. They'd have to make sure those are towed, but it's a good sign that the tow trucks are out here. It could mean that things could get moving here a little bit. You know, I showed you earlier how they were guiding some of those cars a little further back outside towards the other direction of the highway. But for those cars that are kind of caught in between this wreck and then that median, that's going to be a bit longer for those folks.
We've been looking at some live images from our camera network with the DOT that shows the backup. How long did it take you and your photographer to get to this crash? It looks, as we're looking at the image live here of I-87 at US 64 Business, I mean, it's at a total standstill, obviously.
You probably have a better look than us. We actually came from the other direction coming up north, which allowed us to see the wreck and then be able to pull over off on the side and then cut through that same median where they were letting people go in the other direction. But if we went south, we would not be here right now. We would be an hour out. It's stuck in traffic. So, yeah, I wouldn't even try to come up 87 south by Nightdale right now because of that. This is still at a standstill. So yeah, what you're seeing from that map is going to give you a good indication of what people are dealing with right now.